Yeah, welcome to another episode. And we're very happy to have Erika from Budapest. So, welcome, Erika. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, and thank you for the invitation.
Yes, we're really happy because we were looking for people who are in the Iyengar yoga community for a long time, and you've been clearly around a lot, and also influenced a lot the generations of Iyengar yoga teachers in your area. But let us maybe go back to the beginnings. How did you come to yoga? And have you always done only Iyengar yoga, or did you start with something else? Maybe you can just say something about your beginnings.
My early days. I we have to go back to 2002, so that's 23 years ago. And what happened is that I got a job in London, so I moved abroad, and I was staying in a temporary apartment, like short term, like in I was working at the embassy in London. And one of the mornings I woke up and then I went down to the local gym, the yoga class at 7 a.m., which there are two sides of the story. First is that I don't really get up early anymore because it's just not part of my biorhythm. I have always been like this. And then the second is like going to a class where you are standing yourself at 7 a.m. That was quite a challenge. But I did dancing beforehand, so I was aware of body work and stretches and that kind of stuff. But doing it at 7 a.m. in a yoga class, that was quite different. But but it had such an atmosphere. The whole thing is that you deal with yourself, and it's work in the morning, and then you are going to come out, and it really just ignited something in me. It wasn't Iyengar yoga; it was just a teacher. She had a book with her, and then she just took the book, and then okay, so let's do this book. So and then let's do this book. So it was I don't know, I don't remember which book. It was a time. So because I had a membership, I took a few more classes, and then since I stayed there for a year, I met some people, one of my best friends actually, who I met back then, who brought me to the Iyengar Yoga. And well, I didn't really comprehend what she said, and so yeah, sure, I go with you. And that was this Italy here, and that is one of the rare buildings in the world that was dedicated, kind of built up for like to host the Iyengar Yoga in London. So it's a purpose-built building. And the moment you come to that compound and see the building, it's really something special. And it was interesting. I literally find the classes too demanding, but there was still something special about this. I don't want to use the word precise because you often think that Iyengar Yoga is really about precision and alignment only. And having been in India many times, I have a different view on that. But there was something that was shining through this kind of methodical work. I think that's what caught me, that there is a method that you follow from the beginning and you move on to, and that was my interest. Like, so where are we moving on from here? And of course, some of us, I think all of us to a certain degree try that, okay, so I can do these kind of things because I have flexibility and some stamina. And then years later, you laugh at yourself looking back at what that takes. But there was a moment that I will never forget. I was waiting for my class, what was supposed to be in Chevrolet. There are two courts there. And there was a little window that you can see through. Um, and then you can see what's going on in the hall before you pass by. And there were people in headset, and I think they let them fight together. And I said, well, that's kind of peculiar. They accepted it as their side. And then I walked away, and then I came back, and then I looked through, and then they were still in headstand. And then I walked away, and then I came back, I looked through, and then they were still in headstand. And so we talk about like that is. But there was such stillness in them as they were on their head, with their legs together, that even if I had no idea what it was, or there was something special in that, or I really want to explore that. What? quietness that came through the door to that little tiny window. And of course, when you get to do that later, years later, it's obvious. So it really captivated me. So I abandoned my gym membership, and then slowly, I gave up my dance class. I continued in London, and that's what she did. But I explored some other methods as well. I mean, explored, it's probably not the best word, but I did Ashtanga yoga for a year and a half. I moved over into to Dublin, so I lived in Ireland for 3 years, and it was very difficult to find websites and classes that find the local Anglican yoga community. So I ended up in an Ashtanga community for a short time. And that there was this 1.5 year that two methods were parallel to each other, and that was it was very clear after a year or so that when you are in a kind of before kind of side.
So for you, what is Iyengar Yoga then? Like in your own words.
By then, at the beginning,
Yeah, I mean, you said what captivated you. Yeah, maybe there is still something that you have from this very first moment. Surely now it developed, or you broadened your definition. Maybe I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, there was something pristine about this method. I felt that there was nothing purple cloudy, messy, imaginary, uh, distant, or no sense and no music and then no this and that. Just the purity of it was. I think I could feel that right at the beginning, and not just the purity of the external kind of wrapping paper, how it is presented, but the purity that that you feel inside after each and every practice. In some, after some practices more than after other practices, because like so much going on in your life throughout. But there was definitely this purity. And in that particular building, everything was white. There were windows and white walls. And then, of course, no the equipment. But it just supported the idea of moving away from any kind of distraction. And it's you when you have to face your stats, your difficulties, your mindset, whatever comes to them, whatever hinders you. And that just and so that was one thing. And the other thing I really love is the variety of things. Like you can approach in and asana or whatever we talk about, because it's really not about asana. That is really exciting. That it makes a big sense. So today we use the word. Oh, and then tomorrow we are going to use the chair. Aren't just the same pose, but it's a completely different input. And so that was another thing. I think I read it somewhere that there are certain people who are cut out for kind of monotony kind of thing, like running and swimming and doing that kind of sport. And then there are others who could really be proactive, like different type of food that we eat every day or different we do next day. I will do matter what. So I like the right. So when I realized that in Ashtanga there's this that sequence to do every day, and then of course it is family, whatever serious. But in this method, I can do whatever I want, depending on how I feel, what comes to my mind, what I have around me, what is inside of me. That you just open up a fast and on, how to say, a word that will never come to an end in terms of like, finally, I found something that I will probably never get bored by. But that was the second one. And the third one, what happened really early on, was pranayama, and that was within the first year. I think that there was one class, and she didn't say many instructions. Basically, she probably didn't repeat much, and every now and again she just said, "And then now watch your breath." And these were orders to repeat, according to post-colonial like period of time, and that really opened another door. Like I could feel that there's so much depth in it that when you understand that this huge step forward with like what is pranayama. So that was the third one. So that was all within a year, and then so that was what kind of like started.
Then how did you go to Pune for the first time?
So all this happened in 2002, and then we moved back home 2006, so I was back in Hungary. Initially, I came for the summer, and then we stayed here for a half year, and that kind of elongated a little bit by a few more decades, almost now more than one. And then I really decided I wanted to go to India to see the source of it all. And back then, probably still the same now, that you had to have 7 or 8 years of experience. And I couldn't wait. I said, "Oh, I don't want- where can I go? Where can I go?" And we applied, and then he was working with the he was my age. So if you do your form, and then we sent it to on the waitlist. And then we got a date. I hate. God, I don't know whether we had to wait 1 year or 2 years, the regular thing. And that was 2009. I think from the one. And I think that must be the year also when Geeta came to Cologne. So that was my first encounter with the Iyengars when Geeta came to Cologne. And I thought, well, that's wonderful. I really loved it, to be honest with you. I really very much looking forward to it. And I completely got her. I mean, I absolutely got her. Like, okay, so it's another few months and then going to India, it's going to be a blast. And then, so first we went for 2 months. That was Kevin's suggestion. Made me promise not to take the first flight back from Mumbai from the land. And then when the door opened of the aircraft, you understood why. And it took me 3 weeks because, and that was the second thought that please promise me that we don't go home after the first week. Just, it's not an easy place to be, India as such. It's kind of in the middle of your heart, and then you can get out, can't wait to get out of it. For me at least. So it's where, like going back, people think that we go on holidays to India, and then when you are there, it's lots of work.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But you can't get away from it either. So it's like you are there and then you go home, come home and stuff.
yeah, you want to go back. You want to go back. So at that time, okay, Iyengar was not teaching anymore so much. I mean, he was always present, right? But do you remember any like encounter with Iyengar himself, or get a chance to, I don't know, even speak with him or whatever, meet him?
Yeah, to me, he seemed to be absolutely approachable. Basically, all the family members. So he can Prashant also. I think he had a little encounter with Prashant talking about philosophy. Then I also had some work with Ika personally on a practice too. So she gave me a sequence. I still have it somewhere, and I remember parts of it, of course, pretty much all of it what she gave me. And and later on, I also had conversations with Ika, some fun moments, or some fun stories. Uh, and then also because I think that time there was also a book that was published, that big history yoga book that he wrote in translating part of it. So I think it was the first, maybe wasn't the first trip because I went back every year after the first trip. But I used to brought him a book in Hungarian. Was laughing like I don't understand this language. I said, but I know, but it's the same what you have in English. So it's still in the library. And yeah, so we had the chance to talk to him in the library downstairs. And he was around, he wasn't teaching, but he was around in the institute pretty much every day. It's back at the back of the room. And then later on, he was teaching through Abhijata. At the Gita was very active. So I got most really Gita's teaching when I when it
So what do you remember? Is there any correction from Gita that you really, I mean, probably many, but maybe just one that you really said, oh my God, this is the moment, and you took this ally, or let's say, yeah, correction, direction from her until
Yeah, I have two special moments with her that I can recall. Well, three. One was we did Budapest one, and that was really at the front. I really like to be at the front, and then like happy to get birth. And then so our arms were up, and then the pose. I mean, even she said that this is probably the most difficult standing pose. And then we had our arms up, and then turn, turn, turn. We were facing her, and then she said, and then after 10 minutes, and then bend the front leg. And then there was just a flicker of thought in my head that went through like, oh God, just powerful. And then she looked at me like with piercing eyes. She said, you just can't let you drop inside. You have to hold it up. I said, oh my God, and there were hundred of us there to do. It's like, okay. It was literally a thought. But obviously you see energy in people. And then the moment I just thought that like, God, it's gonna last forever. And she said, you can't do that. You just can't drop that. You just have to just maintain and do. So that was her. And that, I mean, you never forget these stories. It's not like somebody tell your story and he's like, oh, how? It's really kind of gets into your nerves. And then there was another shit story. There was a friend of mine, two of us were practicing the Pinchumairasana at the platform, like, who's your teacher? That's the most dreaded sentence in Pune. And then I would just smile, but where are you from? So luckily she asked two questions. So I thought I can get away just answering one. And I said I'm from Hungary. And that was a good answer because she couldn't connect anything to Hungary. No teachers and nothing. So Hungary. Okay. And then silence. And then you could see everybody who was practicing in the room kind of shrank. Everybody started to do Suptapada Vushtas. You know, but it can just disappear or went to the toilet or something. And then we thought, okay, that was over. But then she said, who's your teacher or who taught you this? And it was eventually Patricia Ward, and I was standing there, kind of killing time, smiling, and but who's your speech? And I said it was Patricia Ward. Oh, Patricia, I don't. This is not correct. This is not correct. But that's really great because now I'm in trouble, and then Patricia is in trouble too. I don't know. Shall I take the certificate away from her? Something like this. She's always like, I don't think it's necessary. So that half, the other half of the group disappeared from the practice room. And then she came over, and then she just told us to do something. Like it's not this, but it's that. So we continued doing that. And then for the rest of the practice time, she was working on herself and walking, and that every time she passed by, she was looking at that. So she kept her eyes on us for quite a while, and probably on others as well. But there was, I mean, even if she was angry with what she saw, but there was so much love and kind of love to give or love to share or love to have people who were expecting her and who are ready to go. So I never really, I know that it could spin around a little bit. I don't say out of control, but people had sometimes hard times with her. But honestly, even that moment, when everybody disappeared from group, and then people said, "I'm so sorry, Sunny, she was yelling." She wasn't yelling. She was saying that she saw something that she didn't like, and then she asked us to try it the other way. I mean, I really didn't feel offended at all. It wasn't like she wasn't calling us, names or anything. It was just purely correcting us so that. And then I talked to Patricia about it afterwards because I didn't want her to hear the story from someone else, not from me first. But then she was, "Yeah, really? Did you like that?" I said, "Yeah, we did it actually both ways." And then she said, "Yeah, Guruji used to teach it like that, and Pipa has this thing that she wants to teach it like that." So
That's
sometimes,
the thing, yeah. Patricia was a lot with Guruji himself, so of course she does things a little differently, right? I mean, this is probably most of the like longest discussed topics in the Iyengar yoga. Like, no, we did it this way. Now they do it that way.
Yeah.
Like this is something to work on.
And I was, afterwards I saw I heard that, this and that, and then I put it in my practice. So what do I feel if I do a thought like this? What do I feel if I put my attitude up? So what do I feel apart from what they said? Like, do I really feel like it's practice? How does it work on my body,
Yeah.
my perception?
Yeah. So, I mean, you were really lucky to have all this Iyengar yoga family and also just like senior, what you today call senior teachers, right? So, and today, are you mainly with yourself in the practice, or do you have like who is your teacher, or do you still like are nourished from what you have gotten from them, or maybe it's a mix?
Well, I do. I really. appreciate as keeping the connection with Pune. I'm taking Abhi's class, intermediate class. I did beginners and advanced classes with her as well. I just feel that online, the hour and a half is what keeps my alertness and awareness. And this is what I can also utilize in my own classes most, what she teaches. I really love her classes. So that's one thing. So I stay connected to picking up. And I'm very much enjoying it. Uh, and then I still learn a lot from Kevin because we often work together. We do our teacher training, but course mentoring together. Um, and then I have been going to Sheila as well to the UK for senior programs. God, more than 10 years now, it's probably 30 years or so. So I keep going back. So I still have a little kind of encounter with her, and then through that to be to IYU UK community. Kevin is connected to the American community. Um, and then I started with Stephanie Cork. Then I started working with Gabriela Jubilaro past few years. So I'm regular at her advanced class and then workshops. And then Lois, I also, well, I do. It's just, I really need the personal touch and the personal connection. So I worked with a number of teachers, used to be wonderful teachers worldwide, mostly probably Americans, I have to say. And then I'll just reduce to these few people who I can find if I have the time and energy. And it's a huge difference really person by online.
Yes, definitely. But you yourself, you also teach online or hybrid, as
Yeah,
I call it? Yeah.
yeah. And maybe some Hungarian in the same time. So
Oh,
I'm advocating for an early retirement.
okay.
Because it's a lot.
It's a lot,
It's
yeah.
a lot.
And I mean, I've talked with other teachers also about it, but I mean, the pandemic in a way, it made the art of teaching more complex in a way, like
Yeah,
multi-dimensional, let's say,
yeah,
maybe over multilingual. Yes.
yeah,
And yeah, and then there is also, but it also brought the community a bit more together. I
yeah,
think, you know, today it's possible to have online classes with someone, yeah, in Pune, like on a weekly base. And in the old times, you had to travel, you know, and make all the yeah traveling efforts as well as
yeah.
in there and study and things like that. So, what is in your experience or feeling? Is it something the hybrid or online that will stay, um, that we cannot get rid of? Let's say
No,
you'll implement it in your teachings and also in the people that you are mentoring. I mean, you have been involved in teacher trainings also a lot. How do you prepare actually new teachers for this kind of teaching environment?
it has become well, as you said, a very mixed bag. What we what I also observed in the past few years, on myself as well as on others, students or anyone, is that the attention span had reduced dramatically, and patience and hard work. So what we see and what is a challenge I think these days is that, and it's very interesting to see staying so close to super senior teachers, I just call it super senior, not because of their age, but because of their experience.
Yeah.
That they were the pioneers in this method, and they really sacrificed a lot, time, energy, travel, anything you need it, to get as close to the source as possible. And then already my generation, who have more than 20 years of practice, um, we weren't so willing to sacrifice all of that. But you can see that in the society as well. So it's not just in yoga, it's a general kind of ritual for generations just changing their attitude towards life, I think, or anything that features in is featured in life. And now what I see when it comes to my students, that I feel that we can't really load them or demand so much from them that what we used to do 20 years ago when he started, in the early years, um, because the world is different, because the stamina is different, because the mental strength is different, because the emotional stability is different. It's a different word, especially in the past 5 years, but also how the world is just dramatically changing these days, and this huge insecurity in every field in life. To practice this solace, it gives you shelter and it gives you strength. But on the other hand, you as a teacher can't be so demanding as you wish to be. Because I think a good teacher doesn't expect anything different than what I would expect from myself. That's kind of fair play, right? Um, but if I see that I can't really demand what I would demand from myself, and it's not just a little bit, not that much, but it's a lot different, then you have to restructure somehow your teaching and not lose the essence of this method that is demanding. It's not, populist, or it doesn't want to appear to people in that regard. Like, it's not a product that you want to stand no matter what. But if the teaching comes from your heart, so if your heart is in it, then you have something to say because you had experienced so much through it. And it's perfect. That's what I find the most challenging. The fact that it's online and offline, it's not so challenging, but for anyone who wants to become a teacher, it's just crucial to be there in person. It doesn't work online. And it's at least that. At least that remains from the old school. Now I hope it's not going to go away.
Okay, cool. Thanks. So you've always been inviting these senior teachers as you're also taking lessons with. So maybe you can give us a brief overview about 2026. Who is coming to your studio or to your to Budapest? So
It's still cooking, let's say so. We would love to have Gabriela Jubilaro back. Um, we will see whether we can put together a program, probably maybe with that Brian together. They have been here before separately, and then we already talked about it last year that they started. We would love to have them here, and they would love to come back again. Ed Bailey's book on the Yoga Sutras was published in Hungary, so that's new. So that would be a good moment to heart us out. Sheila is coming this weekend. Um, has been my teacher in the past 12 years, 13 years. And then Stephanie Kirk is coming back again. Enough for me to organize it.
definitely, it's a lot. So cool. So I guess it's best to look on your website or sign up on your newsletter
Yeah.
for all listeners to stay updated for next year. So yeah, thank you very very much for your time, Erica.
Thank you, Claudia.
Yeah, hope to see you soon in one of those workshops. I always enjoyed it being with you in Budapest and studying with the various teachers. So we'll see each other soon, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anybody comes to Budapest, let us know. We are pretty much usually here. We don't even take a summer break in the studio. So that will be super.